Here we go. Hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an anime story podcast. It's the 29th of December. I think. Oh, is this the last podcast of the year? I'm the Big Bad Moon. I'm one of your hosts today. Down below me is Bad Strategy. He's one of your other hosts, and over here on the right is Helen 3D. She's your other host. Today we're gonna be talking about Ninja Girl and Samurai Master. Let me real quick make sure the sound is doing okay. Today we're gonna be. I think so. I gotta figure out a better way to do that because sound is hard. Hey, Bad, how you doing today?
I'm good eating taquitos.
Ooh, it sounds like a day. Sounds like a good day.
Oh, good.
Helen, how you doing?
I have ice
Also,
in my mouth.
Eating ice. Not as good as taquitos, but
Don't do it in a
Still a
survival
reason.
situation.
I'm more shocking on it.
That's fair. Noah does that with his taquitos. Well, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, we're talking about Ninja Girl and Samurai Master today. We all had very busy weeks, being that it was all Christmas and all that nonsense was going on. But here we are, talking about an anime. It's a wonderful short-form anime, actually, Ninja Girl and Samurai Master. Each episode's something like 2.5 minutes long. The intro is 54 seconds, so the intro is almost a minute long. So the intro is like half the length of the show, basically. So Bad.
More like a third the length of the
Third
show.
the length of the show, something like that. Bad. What did you think of Ninja Girl and Samurai Master?
It is swell. It is a wonderful, wonderful. So what's interesting about it, right?
Okay.
You got normal anime, normal like narrative stuff,
Mhm.
where people write the story and then they fill in the gaps in the story, and then they're like, we need more stuff here at this point and things to happen here. Ninja Girl and Samurai Master, because it is a short form anime, they have to trim all the filler off. And so it
Yes.
ends up being a very condensed, like just plot relevant story elements or jokes.
Yes. No,
And it's
absolutely.
wonderful.
Super lean, I would call it. Helen, so you did not watch Ninja Girl and Samurai Master, but we're still going to talk about it with you. And I'm actually
Yes.
thinking we're going to finish. I'd actually kind of be interested to finish off what they have left of it for next week.
That sounds
And
good.
so that's an idea that we'll throw out there for now. What was the anime we had a miscommunication? What was the anime you watched?
Agretsuko.
Oh, right. Yes. That is a great one, by the way. And that is one I also want to do later on. Because that is also it's a short form. It's not as short form as Ninja Girl and Samurai Master. Because what is the episode, like 12 minutes or 11 minutes?
That's something I got, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. And Ninja Girl Samurai Master is like, without the credits, 2.5 minutes, probably.
Agretsuko.
Both of these are awesome shows, by the way. We might have a very light discussion about Agretsuko as well, because it's a really good show, and we have all seen it.
It's so good. I haven't watched the Christmas special yet.
Oh,
But I watched
did they
all
have
the
this?
other ones.
Okay, so I watched I watched the first season. I didn't.
Yes.
Is it the first season and then the Christmas special out?
I think, yeah.
Mhm.
I think that it is. So far.
Yeah.
It's really good, though.
Yeah, this is so.
I just love the office interactions, and
Yes.
I don't know. It's just simple and cute, and
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So this is that is a slice of life anime. Hey, Bad. What would you call, if we were to categorize Ninja Girl and Samurai Master? What would you call this show?
Historical fantasy?
Historical fantasy fiction? That's an interesting question. because of the so.
It definitely has a focus on being set in an authentic historical setting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, huh. Well, so okay, so and this is something I'll say. Ninja Girl and Samurai Master. I love the show. I think it's delightful. I think of the short form anime out there, of which there are not very many, that are here in America. It is one of my it is probably my favorite. Agretsuko, however you want to say it. That is also really good. I like them for different reasons.
Right.
So Ninja Girl and Samurai Master, 2.5 minutes long. The pace of the show is just really, really fast. Every scene, it's
But it
line,
has to
line,
be.
line, punchline,
Yeah.
next scene, and it has to be because they have 2.5 minutes to do the
Right.
entire episode. To do, and so this is an interesting thing because you have 2.5 minutes to get through everything you need to get through. So they've trimmed off everything they don't need, and there's all there is left is the stuff that they just really, really need. So it's really engaging. I would say it can be a little bit tiring, but it's really engaging. You want to stick with it and watch it. It's a show where I would say if you're gonna watch it, pay attention to it. Don't be making lunch or like doing something else casually at the same time. Like pay attention, focus in, watch like 3 episodes, and then put it down. And then the next day come back, watch 3 more episodes. Because I did try a while back to go through a bunch of it, just like on my own, and I think I got to like episode 8 or something like that, and then I like shook my head and I was like, wait, I don't even know what happened for the last 3 episodes because it just goes so quickly. Like in a normal show, you can kind of like you might like space out for 3 or 4, 5 minutes, and it's fine. You come back and you're like, okay, yeah, oh yeah. Where Ninja Girl and Samurai Master, if you space out for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, you've missed 2 episodes.
It's gone.
And
Yeah.
and then you have to, I don't even know what happened the last 2 episodes. You space out for 2 minutes and the episode's over. And you're like, damn. So you have to rewatch it. So focus in, watch like 3 at a time. Watching them solo for me I couldn't do it because I just zoned out a couple times and I started having to rewatch stuff and I put it down. Watched it together with Bad Strategy, and together we sat there and we focused and we had discussions about them every episode. We got through it all in one go. It took, for the first 26 episodes, like a couple of hours with a lot of breaks, maybe 3 hours, a lot of breaks, make lunch, whatever. But that's if you're gonna watch it like solo, I'd say just straight up watch 3 episodes a day. When you wake up, drink your coffee, watch 3 episodes, go to work, or watch them on your lunch break at work, and then save the rest. Don't try to do too much because it is really focus. You need a lot of focus to do it. You can't be doing other things at the same time because of the nature of how the show moves. The punchlines are so fast and it keeps coming at you that you will be actively watching it, and because of having to like read the subtitles, if you in fact do not speak Japanese, because I don't believe there's a dub out there, but if you don't read Japanese, a lot of text in it too. So if you don't read Japanese, you don't speak Japanese, you're gonna read stuff and you're gonna miss things because it'll have a line on the screen. It can only keep it on there for like a couple of seconds and it's gone. And you'll miss a punchline and the jokes roll so quickly. I probably maybe like a sixth of the jokes in that show. There are a lot. A sixth of the jokes probably either had to pause it so I could stop and like get it, take it in, or I just missed it. There were definitely a few times where I stopped, like we'd be moving and a scene would cut to another scene and I'd be like, I missed that joke. I know it was a joke, but I missed it. I missed the punchline. Bad. We were talking about this and that language barrier for the humor.
Yeah. So I would recommend, if you are taking a Japanese history class and a Japanese language class, that you should watch this show because it will be hilarious.
Yeah. No, because it's really funny.
Definitely.
But if you speak Japanese, read and speak Japanese fluently, if you understand like Japanese culture, like if you grew up in Japan, or you get that, and if you know Japanese history, this is probably the funniest thing that's ever happened on Earth. It's a really funny show, and I feel like all of the history, there's like a lot of history joke and a lot of stuff that just not knowing like this specific era in Japanese history, and living in the culture, it just like kind of goes over your head. But it's so packed full of stuff. It's still hilarious. But yeah, if you know all that stuff, this is a wonderful show. And if you don't, it's still a wonderful show. Yeah. What do you have any other thoughts on just the formatting of it in a short form kind of anime?
I have to say, from other animes, it's a lot different from the short forms that I've seen.
Right.
I've watched several short forms out of
Yeah. Oh, you just went muted.
Are you there?
Yep.
Sorry.
No
Did you
worries.
hear what I said?
You watched several short forms out of
Japan,
Mhm.
and they weren't as like, I don't know, like it seems like you said, like a full anime, but just they
Yeah.
cut all of the other crud out, and
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
I think that it flows very well. The art style is awesome.
Mhm.
It feels different than a lot of short forms.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So like, and this is like we'll time like Agretsuko is a short form anime. It's like 11, 12 minutes per episode. It moves relatively fast. Agretsuko is a slice of life. It's about a person working in an office. Well, not a person, a fox working in an office.
A fox person.
A fox
Thank
person.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
He likes metal.
who's also loves metal. It's a great show. We're gonna do that one sometime because it's wonderful. But that's kind of when I think of short form anime. That's kind of what I'm. It's like 11 minutes, and it's a kind of a little condensed short story. And a lot of the short forms are like one shots that I've seen. Agretsuko is a little series. I think there are 24 episodes in the first season. And Ninja Girl and Samurai Master is definitely it is as short form as it gets. I can't imagine a shorter form coherent narrative existing. And
I've seen cute ones, but they haven't been they're cute. They're not
right. And
a lot of substance.
And Ninja Girl and Samurai Master it has an ongoing cohesive narrative that is following Oda Nobunaga's conquest of Japan to unify the country. Liberation. Unification. It's following his unification of Japan. And the shinobi, what is her name? I can't remember.
I don't know. Something.
The shinobi, this little girl who's a shinobi.
Yeah, I just watched it and I already forgot.
Yeah, and who is
she's from Iga.
Yeah, she's a shinobi from Iga. And it is she's Nobunaga's shinobi, and she goes and does his bidding, and she's like adorable and cute and also kills people super fast. And with shuriken, yes. And it's an interesting cohesive narrative that has as I understand it, a rooting in I think feudal Japanese history. Really interesting. It's crazy. They with little 2.5 minute snippets, because it does have pretty much everything you'd expect to have any story to have. It has a bunch of characters. There are side stories where characters develop relationships. There, everybody has motivations. Everybody acts on, what they're trying to do. Obviously, Nobunaga wants to unify Japan. There are some characters who want to, there's a kind of a rich diversity of different motivations, and people want more power, and like the character Monkey. I don't remember what his actual name is. Everybody calls him Monkey. I think he has an actual name though. But he wants to. He wanted to marry Nobunaga's younger sister, but then he also wanted to. He married someone else, and now he wants to gain rank and become a more respected, like general. Like he wants to raise in the ranks, and all the little characters have their own motivations. They're all cohesive motivations, and they act accordingly, and everything. Like if you have a regular story, everything you'd expect in a regular story happens in Integral and Samurai Master. It just happens down. It's condensed into like 2.5 minutes, so it's interesting because it's very engaging, the whole thing, because you're following this story the whole time. You just don't get the downtime between scenes, or you don't get the action. You get action scenes, but they're they're super fast. So it's one of those things where you never get bored. It might be so much information that you start zoning out, and then that's why I think you should only watch like 3 episodes at a time. Yeah, it's really I think it's a fabulous show. What do you think of the artwork? Helen, you said something about the artwork that you liked. Or bad. What did you think of the artwork?
Oh, I love the artwork. I love the art style. They have these. It's interesting. They have like a very painterly style with the backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
They have some of the shots in the intro were very high contrast, very like stylized.
Mm-hmm.
I like the watercolor look. The watercolor brushes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
the art style works extremely well with the anime.
For how much artwork they have to produce, they do quite a good job on a lot of it. I like the line quality you can see in the picture, the image we have down here in the bottom right corner. I am a big fan of the style of line work they have for like the character in the background. Interesting, fun, a lot of character to it, and very cute because it's like so it's this style. There are moments in the show that are chibi, like that's what it is. The show as a whole though is not chibi. It's kind of chibi. What do you think?
Usually apply to objects. I don't know. I think it all counts as chibi. I think.
Yeah. What is
be
chibi? I'm sure there's a chibi scholar somewhere.
It's very close to chibi.
Slang for small or short.
Mm-hmm.
And so they make a chibi version of ReZero, and it's similar. I mean,
Right.
in that sense. So I would say it's borderline chibi.
Mm-hmm. And if there wasn't the contrast between, there are certain moments in the show where it will have a scene where the character, or like a cut where the character is like just like a tiny body and a giant head.
It seems to be, according to Wikipedia, the proportions of the head are anywhere between 1/3 and 1/2 of the character's height.
Okay. That's
So
fair.
I would say
So some of the characters that's
Yeah,
true
but
for.
she's chibi. So you have chibi episodes where everyone's chibi, or you can have a chibi person.
That's fair.
I don't know.
That's. I guess it's a philosophical.
you know, it's
The
we don't need to
philosophy
get into subgenres and be like it's type A chibi.
Type A3. Now, if we look at chart 6,
Yeah, that's just gonna get confusing. I like this form of chibi. It's a good form of chibi.
no, I agree. I love the animation. It's charming. It's fun. It's lighthearted, and it's got a lot of interest in it. I think the line quality does a lot for that. The backgrounds, specifically do a lot for me.
The action looks really good too.
Oh yeah, there are moments where a lot of it, because of the way that it is and how quick it is, there are a lot of quick cuts. A lot of the characters a lot of the time are standing still, and there's not a lot of like fluid animation. There is fluid animation in moments that it really works for the joke or for the moment that it has it. Like for fight scenes, there's one moment where the shinobi runs away from 3 characters, and it's animated really fluidly, and she very smoothly like starts running away, and then they follow her, and it worked really well. It was really funny, and it was obviously a very intentional choice for them to like animate that little bit out of the whole episode, and it made it look like it made the joke land really well. So I think it's a great example of how if you only have this much screen time, you really have to make everything matter. Like you have to you have to get the most out of that screen time that you can. And I think they have their priorities set really straight for what they want to do, what they wanted to do with this show.
Yeah, I would be entirely unsurprised to see a full-length anime with less character development, with less story built into it.
No, absolutely. And I think that's probably one of the strengths of being able to work in a thing like that in this type of format, is that suddenly when you only have 2.5 minutes to do your whole episode, suddenly you're like, oh crap, I have to get this in and this in and this in, and I only have so much time. Whereas if you have 24 minutes, maybe you can be a little bit looser with it. You don't have to worry about getting every single thing in, so you maybe don't utilize your time as well. So it's a big limitation probably for the people making it, that in the end probably helps them a lot, because it really makes them have to hone in on everything that is absolutely important for the episode. But yeah, no.
The other thing I like is the angles, the camera angles, and the fact that they have to overlap so much. It almost causes the tension to build naturally, which you see this a lot in theater when you have to just go. You suddenly suck the air out and it becomes greater than it was. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, no,
at least for the first few episodes that I watched.
Right, yeah. No, for the trying to get everybody on frame. Like, is that kind of what you mean? Like getting all the people having to be on? Yeah. Because there's not really time to like pan over here and pan over
you
there.
have to just go.
Like everybody's like bing, bing, bing. Yep.
Yeah. And it causes a moment-to-moment interaction where it feels more natural and real, because nobody's sitting and dwelling on anything. It's just happening in the moment. So you don't feel like you're like, okay, come on, like, where are we going here? What adventure are we on? It just goes. You're in that moment. I like that.
Yeah, no, it's great. And so something actually that I think happened to me a few times over the course of the show is there'd be a joke that I thought was incredibly funny, and I'd start laughing, and I'd give it like a good 3-second laugh, and then by the time I stop laughing, they're already like midway into the next conversation and building for the next joke, and I'm like, okay, wait, I don't remember what I was laughing. Like, they don't give you a moment. There's not that like
the
stereotypical like sitcom moment where someone says da 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 da, and then the laugh track happens, and they just like boop, joke next.
That seems so natural to life, though. I mean, the pace at which we talk, our rate of utterance is so fast anyway. It just makes sense. Like, I don't know. I find it really intriguing.
So now, what do you think then, Helen? Having watched a couple episodes of this, the big difference between this and Aggretsuko, like, how would you stack them? And I don't mean to compare their quality, but like Aggretsuko,
different genres. I would say completely different genres. I wouldn't lump them into the same category. It would be hard to compare. I like Aggretsuko. It's kind of one of those that you can kind of get your anger out on life and society, and it's like punky and fun. Whereas this one's like totally like a twist on that. I feel like it's more like they try and be historical. They take you back, but at the same time, it's clever, it's witty, it goes. So I think witty, I would put this in the category of witty in the comedy section, whereas Aggretsuko is like day to day.
It's interesting because the definitely, I think the humor styles between the two shows are quite a stark contrast.
Well, that's what I mean. They're not I don't know.
I mean, Agretsuko is very much a real life, like
Yeah.
people go
Yeah.
through this. The audience has been where the character is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
My boss is a pig and he sucks.
Yeah, yeah, and that's
And he really is a pig.
yeah,
So it's
and
funny.
he's literally a pig.
I imagine a lot less people are like, God, I know what it's like to be a ninja in ancient
yeah.
Japan.
Yeah, yeah, I'm living that
But
shinobi
it's
life.
so interesting. Like I think culturally, it brings out like a sense of cultural feeling to it.
So the the styles of the two shows and what they're doing in the narratives. Yeah, Agretsuko I think is very much about being able to relate to the character, you know, and it's like they're all animals, right? And so they all have, they all have their own thing because they're all different animals. But they're all things you can relate to. You can relate to your boss. You can relate to your friend that has this problem. You know, you can relate to like there's an unrequited love thing happening in the show, and like a bunch of very reasonable like daily struggles. Bosses that are unappreciative and like getting all the work dumped on you at work. Gesundheit. A lot of wonderful, relatable stuff that happens in Agretsuko. And in Ninja Girl and Samurai Master, they are all of the humor. I think, or the majority of the humor is character humor, and it is. Let me see stuff that is fun. Like, what is a good example of a type of thing? Like, for instance, one of the recurring jokes in Ninja Girl and Samurai Master is that everybody thinks that this little tiny young girl is a shinobi, but she's not she can't be like a serious shinobi, or like she can't be like she's not really dangerous because she's just like a little tiny little girl, and then she like kills like 90 people, and they're like, oh my god. And that's a joke that I think happens a lot, and it's funny because I actually think I was talking about this with Bad the other day. It was that some of the jokes in Ninja Girl and Samurai Master, I don't think would be funny in another context. Like if it was in a different show, because of how quickly they happen and because of the way that they're delivered, like they're jokes that wouldn't be funny to me in another context.
No.
Yeah, the style plays in very heavily to the humor.
The style, plays in incredibly heavily to like there's a joke where Nobunaga shoots a musket at a matchlock musket at this guy, the guy named Monkey, because the guy named Monkey mentions something about Nobunaga's younger sister, and it's like, oh, this character said something about liking his sister, and then he shoots a musket at him. That's not a joke that is funny. That does not sound like a joke that is funny to me. That is not a joke that I would in most circumstances find to be amusing. But the way that it's played, the way that it's done in Ninja Girl and Samurai Master is I think genuinely funny. I don't know if that's because of the way they play it is just kind of a style that I enjoy, or it just happens so fast. It might also just be it doesn't give you time to think about it. It's just like boom, it happened, and then they're moving on.
I think the one thing I appreciate though is that it's not popcorn humor. Cannot stand popcorn humor.
That's true. Okay, so define.
I
was going to say define for me popcorn humor, because
like okay,
I think I know what you mean, but I don't
know who used this term. I don't know who coined it. I just heard somebody tell me that what I didn't like was popcorn humor. It's where it makes no utter sense to the whole of the story. Like it's just thrown at you and it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't play into the story and it's like dumb.
You mean you mean like surprise value humor, right? Like humor that it's like, that's so unexpected, I'm gonna laugh because something completely unexpected
but it has nothing to do with the story, and then it doesn't tie in at any other point, and it makes no sense whatsoever. Like I don't like that. Like it bothers me. I'm like, okay, why am I watching this?
That's like someone shouts out an obscenity and everyone laughs, and it's like, well, it wasn't funny. It was just they said something that no one expected them to say, and it was inappropriate. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah, no, that's a
It depends on
relatively
the
popular.
context, because
Yeah.
sometimes that happens and it's interesting. Like, it makes sense to that character. And sometimes they just do it all the time in an anime. I won't say which anime, but they do it all the time. And it's like, okay, I don't know. This story has no arc. It has nothing. I don't care.
Yeah, interesting. I think I know what you mean. I think I think I get what you're saying.
It
It is
bothers me
kind of hard
because,
thing to
like,
quantify.
this, I feel like it all ties together. Like, it makes sense and it's funny. Like, I don't feel like what I'm talking about, they don't make sense. It doesn't
It's like a justified humor almost.
jive. Yeah. I like when it's justified in some way.
I would say, yeah, no, I would say, yeah, it's an interesting.
Even if it's a character choice, that's
Right.
cool. But when it doesn't jive with the rest of the show, it's like, okay, eh.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting trying to quantify
Sorry.
because I totally think I know what you mean. Trying to kind of quantify that, like something like Will Ferrell humor, in kind of in general. And I'm not saying that Will Ferrell doesn't have good humor or that I don't like his humor, but
Yes.
Will Ferrell, many people find funny because he yells and or he will shout something, or just like yell something. And whilst that is something Will Ferrell would do,
he does have a certain style of behavior that I think people find amusing.
yeah, no, that's fair. And I would say that is entirely fair if you like that, like if you enjoy the type of behavior Will Ferrell has, and that's what you go for. I think that's Will Ferrell's the kind of thing that a lot of people like, the way he acts, like just the way he kind of is. I love Nathan Lane, for instance. I think Nathan Lane, the way Nathan Lane walks around and moves and talks, Nathan Lane, I think, is one of the funniest human beings that's ever existed. He's just very funny. If you don't know Nathan Lane, he's Timon from The Lion King. He was in the movie Mouse Hunt. He was in The Producers.
He's hilarious.
He is hilarious. Like, just and it's just about the way he moves, the way he talks, the way his mannerisms.
I would say, like, if going with the Will Ferrell track, Will Ferrell has two different ways of doing his humor. And I think one works and one doesn't, and it's really a shot in the dark, whether it's going to work or not. I'm not, a person who watches Will Ferrell very much.
That's
because
very fair.
I'm not for that humor. But, like, I enjoyed Elf. I thought that was very cute. Stuff like that. But I feel like even the latest movie that he was in, Watson and Holmes,
Oh, right.
it tanked
Yeah, I heard it
hard
tanked really
in
hard.
theaters. So, like, I feel like it's one of those that if you don't hit it right, it's not going to land well.
Yeah. Well,
And
I also don't. Well,
referring back to anime with that, I feel like there are anime out there who just throw those in for no reason.
yeah.
And, like, you try and keep, like, this consistent world in your head. Like, you're trying to track it. And there's not one. And it's like, okay, so why, like, for me, why would I watch something like that? I like to have the world.
Are you saying that you require verisimilitude?
Maybe.
Yeah. No. So this
I
is.
still haven't looked it up.
This. Come on, Alan. What are you doing? So this is an interesting thing because this is actually, I was having a discussion, actually, funnily enough, about some movies that came out this weekend and why they tanked, or not this weekend, but last month, and how they tanked. What is it? Mortal Engines.
I never heard of that one.
Yeah, I know, right? Tanked. But we're not going to get into why those movies tanked. But I do think there is, something to be said for why they tanked and how that's also applicable to obviously anime, because this is the same thing. I think something that happened with Mortal Engines is I watched the trailer, and I had no questions about what was going to happen. I knew exactly what was going to happen in the movie, and I didn't feel like I had to watch it. So to rephrase that slightly, I would say I feel like I knew exactly what was going to happen in the movie. Not interested. Another thing is I had no questions about the movie. I had no questions about, like,
which also leaves you like, okay, why would I go watch it?
Right. Yeah. Who are these characters? Like, what's going on here? Why are they doing that? Why is this happening? What's like? I had no questions about it because it kind of explained everything and didn't leave anything up to my own imagination. It didn't have, very good tone, and like it seemed very vanilla. The tone of the trailer, like it's just like, yeah, okay, it's kind of colorful and it's interesting, but I don't get it, or like there's nothing like there for me. Like they could have gone kind of dark, or they could have gone adventure-y, or it was a Peter Jackson movie. It was like Lord of the Rings. Okay. There was nothing in there that like I could latch onto and be like, okay, I like this, like tonally, this thematically. It was very just like, here's some colorful things and here's some action, and there's nothing tonal that really drew me in. And I think probably those are some of the reasons that it did not do terribly well at the box. I will say, who knows? Maybe it was a horrible movie, so maybe that's why it bombed.
I think it's interesting looking at those elements, because then when you take it back to like when I watched the few episodes of Samurai Girl, it was Ninja Girl and Samurai Master. I loved the elements where they gave you kind of a 360 degree of what was happening, but at the same time, they didn't necessarily feel like they had to. I hate when there's a forced element of, I need to show you everything.
Yeah.
Because I'm closing you off, and it's like, no, please don't. You just made it worse. Like there's a show that I'm watching right now that they added a studio audience afterwards, and there was no need for it.
You can't add a studio audience afterwards.
No.
That's not a studio audience.
It made the sound pop wrong.
Huh.
And so each clip, it looks like the video's off to like a person who's not trained, but it's actually the audio that clicks off.
Ooh, that's
rough.
And
so it makes everything like not jive right. So like to me, like I hate when they force it. I'm like, dude, just go with it. Like if you have an idea, just go, because your idea is probably going to drive better if you don't second guess yourself.
So, and that's okay. Yeah, absolutely. So this is something about like Ninja Girl and Samurai Master. There is no trailer that I am aware of for Ninja Girl and Samurai Master. If there is, it would be like a 3-second trailer if we do it proportionally. But if you watch the first episode of Ninja Girl and Samurai Master, then you have a very clear tone. Like, you kind of get how the show's going to be. There's a lot of questions in it. Like you're wondering. You look like you're having a good time, Bed.
I was trying to see if I could find a trailer. I thought for a moment that I'd found a trailer and that it was a 1 minute and 30-second trailer, but I was mistaken.
That was an episode? No. Or that was
it would have been funny if the trailer had been.
Yeah. But
half the show.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot of, like, if you watch the first episode of Ninja Girl and Samurai Master, which is literally shorter than the majority of trailers out there, because it's 2.5 minutes. It introduces a bunch of characters. It gives them what seems to be like some interesting motivations. Like you're wondering how they're gonna. It opens up a bunch of characters, and it's asking you a question about what they're gonna do. And like in the first episode, I believe the main character, I guess you'd say, Ninja Girl, she is about to drown. She gets saved by Nobunaga, and she decides she wants to go and be Nobunaga's shinobi. And so after that episode, you're like, okay, so she has like she has this goal. I know this character has this goal. I also know what Nobunaga's goal is. And so obviously those are two things that are going to interact in the future, and I don't know how those are going to interact. There's a question there. How will these two things interact with each other? It introduces some other characters that makes you wonder about what they're going to do. So it asks a bunch of questions, in the first episode, and it does that every episode. You get little bits of this. Oh, this character's introduced, that character's doing this, and so every episode, you're wondering, oh, is this character going to go do that? What's this character going to do? Where is this thing going? And so there's never a moment where it feels like nothing is happening, because there's always, a bunch of different things happening. But it's a thing that keeps you watching, right? So like if I watch some episodes of Ninja Girl and Samurai Master, and I'm always wondering what is going to happen, that's always going to keep me interested. This is why every episode of a TV show these days is, everything's a cliffhanger. And you always have to have, a bunch of different, like if you have a kind of an ensemble cast show, something like, I won't name names. Actually, I could name names. Maybe an anime name. How about Cowboy Bebop? In Cowboy Bebop, any one of the characters has any number of things going on at once. What is Spike doing, and what is Jet doing? And what is this character Ed is doing? They're trying to do this, and so stuff is happening. And they might resolve one arc in one episode, but there's still something going on in another arc. Go ahead.
I think Game of Thrones is the obvious example for
That's
this,
true.
because Game of Thrones has a ton of characters, and they're all in different regions of the world,
Yeah.
and they each have their own storylines, and their storylines may be converging or moving apart at any point in time. And so Game of Thrones brings in a lot of people who are like, God, where's Arya? I want to see Arya. Or where's Jon Snow?
Yeah. No, exactly.
And they are able to just like drip feed the audience little bits of story for each character to keep a wider group interested, because there's a character for most people.
Oh yeah, everybody's got a character they love, and they've got a story that they enjoy. And in some stories, you're not really interested in whatever's going on with the sand snakes or whatever, but hey, over here there's Jon Snow, and we can watch him, and I'm excited. So you'll wait through that other stuff to get to the good stuff.
There's also an element of if a storyline starts to fail and starts to not be, if a storyline stops being interesting to a member of the audience for some reason, because it is given to people in a slower form and intermixed with all this other stuff, it takes a lot longer for a person to realize, oh, this isn't going where I wanted it to be going. I'm not sure if I really want to keep watching this show. Yeah. And so it retains viewers longer.
No, and absolutely. Yeah, and I 100% agree with that. And that's a interesting thing that Ninja Girl and Samurai Master does. Is it manages to do the same thing. Like, obviously not as many different plot lines as Game of Thrones, because nobody has that many plot lines, because everybody else in the world is not as insane as George R.R. Martin when it comes to writing stories.
It's more focused on specifically, especially Nobunaga and her shinobi, but the other characters do get some spotlight time, and we do get episodes devoted to specific characters.
Yeah, and the fact that you have probably on any given episode you have maybe 3 characters that gets touched on. You'll have Nobunaga, and you'll have the shinobi, and you'll have like Monkey, or you'll have Monkey's wife. It's a show that I think because you have to read the subtitles, and it goes so quickly, I don't remember anybody's name. I know Nobunaga's name.
Subtitles can hugely slow things down, especially in a quick show.
Because when an anime like this,
Yeah, you can end up in a position where it's like I missed the visual information because I was looking at the text.
Yeah, there's a lot, and there's a lot of visual jokes. Um, so, but yeah, they probably would touch on like maybe like 2 or 3 characters per episode, their stories, and they have keeps it moving right along. Never a dull moment in it, certainly. Helen, you look like you have something to say. No?
No, I just said I'm about to sneeze again.
Oh, okay, I see.
I'm still rocking this cold.
Yeah, I am recovering currently from the chesty throat cold. It was awful.
It's like the tail end of it, but it's like still there.
Yep, that's the best.
But I had to ADD child you on this because we got this for Christmas.
Oh yeah, that is pretty awesome. That's pretty good.
I know, right? Cowboy Bebop, yo.
I should make a
It
cowboy.
was from my
Bebop
mother-in-law.
poster. Ah, hell yeah. I should make.
She
a
was like,
Cowboy
I
Bebop
felt like
poster.
it was inappropriate to give to the 8-year-old nephew. We were like, okay.
Really?
I know, right? That's what we thought. We were
How?
like, well, yeah, we'll take it. I mean,
That's fair.
I don't know. She got him something else cooler.
Oh, okay, that's fair. At least you got something cooler.
Yeah.
Is there a best girl?
God, that's really tough.
That's up to you guys.
Best girl in Ninja Girl and Samurai Master.
Ba-da-dum.
I feel like the characters are so. It just moves so quickly.
Is there a waifu?
Oh yeah, there is. The frail general.
Oh yeah,
He's,
I approve.
he is so understanding. You know,
Yes.
he has some medical issues, but he's very understanding. That's a great example of a joke that I don't think would be funny to me in a normal context. But there's this guy, he's a general, and he describes himself as being sickly, and in the middle of a scene he'll suddenly like just go and like cough up a whole bunch of blood, and it's horrific and like violent, and all of a sudden it's not a thing that I would normally find funny, but because of like the cadence of the show, it works really well, and
I would like to give waifu to the protagonist's 15 shurikens.
you know what? Did you say best girl or waifu?
Best girl.
Best girl. Definitely best girl to her 15 shuriken. She keeps. But yes, I think that's pretty good without a question. And then later on when you do watch this, Mandy,
Yes. This week.
you will understand how wonderful their shuriken are, because they're pretty great. What are they called? Because they're like the throwing knives. They're not like throwing stars. They're the knives with the rings on them.
They might literally be called shuriken.
I saw it shuriken in the subtitles.
Shuriken knives.
I feel like they call them something else, or she calls them something else.
She might at some point.
Shuriken
But-
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia
I
is
think
a
they
wonderful
count
source
as
of information.
shuriken.
I agree. I like. Sounds good. But being we have 10 minutes left of the show. I think, is it pretty safe to say that we're going to do Ninja Girl and Samurai Master Part 2
Yes.
next week? But should we watch through the second season too? Because the first season is the first 26 episodes.
Well, but they're 3 minutes apiece. So
They're 3
really
minutes each, yeah.
short.
2 minutes if you skip the credits. But yeah, so let's do that. We'll
up
watch
for it.
through the next season of Ninja Girl and Samurai Master.
And now I know what I'm doing.
And now you know which one to do.
Sorry.
It's all good.
We could
It was a
watch the
long
next.
week for everybody.
We could watch the next 2 seasons if Mandy is willing to binge that much.
Oh my
Sure.
god.
Well, I binge that much anyway, even when I'm working and going to school. And I'm off all next week, so we should be good,
Yes.
theoretically.
So that will be good. I am excited because I do want to keep going on that, because it's a fun, interesting, weird show that I am just super happy exists. I'm very happy that this is a show that exists. But yeah, good stuff. And then next week, or the week after that, maybe we'll do Gretsuko, because I also want to do that. Is season 2 of that out yet? I don't recall.
Season 2 of what?
Agretsuko?
Oh.
It's not out yet, no. Sorry.
That's fair.
I wasn't listening.
I
I
understand.
was looking up something else. It had to do with anime, though.
Oh
that's
my
good.
god, I just got it. Is she a fox?
Yes.
Oh, I get it now.
What, Agretsuko?
What do
No.
you get?
No, wait. Is Agretsuko a fox or is? No, she's a panda. The
Gretsuko.
protagonist is a panda.
Yes, it's called Agretsuko.
But the other
Gretsuko.
girl, the foxy girl, is a fox.
Her friend.
I think so. Because it's
Not
The
her coworkers.
characters-
They're birds.
Is
Well,
she
one
a
of them's a
panda?
bird.
yeah, she's a red panda.
Yeah, it's just a red panda. It's a
Oh.
fox. Type of fox.
Okay, so wait, now here's my question. Is a red panda a type of fox, or is a red panda a type of panda that people say is a fox?
No, the panda's not the fox. Her friend is a fox.
Agretsuko.
Because I obviously saw the boss was a pig, which makes sense because he's a pig. And then the CEO lady who's all concerned with her looks is like a showy bird with like plumage.
Red pandas are actually related to raccoons and giant pandas.
Yeah, they look a lot like raccoons.
I love the plot, the first couple sentences of the plot
Oh my
on
gosh.
Wikipedia. Retsuko
Yeah?
is an anthropomorphic red panda, 25 years old and single, who works in the accounting department of a Japanese trading firm. That's amazing. Gold.
They're so clever. I love it. They're just clever.
Oh yeah, what a delightful show. But let me see. So this is the last show of the year. The last show of 2018.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's, everybody.
Yay.
So questions. How do you think the first year of the podcast has gone so far? I'm going to spring that question on you. Hasn't been a full year technically. We've only been going for like 6 months now, but it has been a while. We're
I've
episode
highly
19.
enjoyed the growth.
Mm-hmm. I think it's.
I feel like together we've grown a lot. Even like the last few months, I just feel like
Mhm.
we've really started to cohesively work together very
Mhm.
well.
I feel like we've kind of
Go ahead.
fallen into or figured it out the
Except for this
the
time,
mesh a
because
little
I
bit.
wasn't ready.
Except for this time where you didn't watch the show that we watched. Helen. I'm not mad. No, it's fine. It's okay. What was the I forgot to watch a show where I didn't watch some of it. I watched half of one. I don't remember what it was. Remember that?
For shame.
In bed, you've already seen all the anime, so you don't need to worry about it.
No,
So-
he has not.
All of it.
I think he's all of it.
Have you seen? I can't
Yep.
understand what my
Mhm.
husband is saying.
He's seen it.
Yep.
He's seen all the
I don't
anime
do.
that ever was and ever will be.
The short
And the
form.
sequel.
It's a short form.
It's gonna,
Also
have,
the prequel. Seen that too.
it's gonna have 3 sequels.
It's a short form. It's 3 minutes.
I saw the extended version.
Mhm.
It's longer.
8 minutes.
Oh Lord.
Just call him bad strategy. It's fine.
So, what do you think, Bad, of our first year?
It was a year. It was the first one, and it was good. Yep. Coming
like
up on a second. Just gonna give it 110%.
You see, I feel like we're cheating now because it's only been 6 months, but we're gonna call it a year because it's gonna be 2019 tomorrow. Or not tomorrow.
It's
The next day.
2019.
It's basically a year. 6 months is basically a year.
Just gonna give it my all, give 110%,
Yeah.
and keep going.
Keep going. Just keep rocking it.
Also, great reference, by the way. That man. That was vague reference of the day. Bad strategy. Points if you win it. Anyways, I suppose we will wrap it up then for the night. It's been a lovely 6 months. We will be watching Ninja Girl and Samurai Master. We're going to do part 2. We're going to do the first 2 seasons. The seasons are kind of weirdly defined. I think the first season is the first 26 episodes, and the second season I think is going to be the next 26 episodes.
You're right. Bizarre.
It is absolutely bizarre. I can't find it. It just lists all the episodes, and it doesn't say when the next season. It doesn't say like, yeah, this is the season break. And they're only 2.5 minutes, so it's like, I think episode 26 I feel like is the end of the first season. That's how I feel. But we will be back on oh my gosh, January the 5th, Saturday, January the 5th, 2019. We'll be doing Ninja Girl and Samurai Master Part 2, where we will discuss the first 2 seasons of the show. And it's going to be awesome. All right. Hey, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Have a lovely night. We will talk to you later. Have a good year. New Year. Bye.
Bye. Bye.